the Smart Nonsense Podcast, where we talk about smarts nonsense, baby, and the crowd goes wild because we did 3 this week. This is our third recording this week. I haven't figured anything out per usual.
September 12th.
September 12th. Glad to be here.
Yeah. Tell you what, dude. In New York, they got lights for September 11th. Shoot up right from where the old World Trade Centers used to be. Really nice. Took a photo last night. Maybe I'll put that up.
Right here. Boop.
Yeah. Good to be back making stuff. That's it. Move fast and make things, dude.
Yeah, so you recorded a
708. Oh, fuck, I was about to go through it.
Don't go through my number. You I'm thinking about my Google Voice number. No thanks.
I gotta thread off of that.
Write it down. You recorded the first short you've done in like a year because you had one deadline, 365 days, and $10,000 to shoot a 60-second short for Sarah V. Bravo.
Yeah,
Bravo.
Thanks,
How'd it feel? How are we doing?
What was really tough was like, all right, like when you're in retirement, and you're like, wow, let me fucking put on the old socks and the pants and get back in and see what it's like out on the field. What's not good is right before you go back out on the field, you see like a blooper reel of your worst shorts of all time, and you have to post those out to the world. So, which is basically what just happened. My like 5 last shorts, which were meant to be 60 seconds, turns out they're like fucking 22 seconds because I don't know how to time things. I don't know how to act. The editors, they weren't helping me too much. It wasn't looking good, but I got to heat up the channel by any means necessary. This might actually like congeal it. Congelar. It might
cool it right down.
Right. So it might have a backfiring effect.
Well, let's see how your first short in a year is doing because you posted an old one.
Well, don't do that to me.
Oh.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Wow.
45 seconds. So you got 45 seconds. The goal is 59, by the way, 60-second short. And people are watching it for like 30 seconds. So
30 on 45.
30 on 45.
Here's
that for the listeners is probably not viral. But that's all right because you're back in the game.
Yeah, congealed. But that's right. It's really just about moving fast and making things right now. That's my era. So we're doing it. We're doing it well. Depending. I don't know. This last short, I think I timed it out right. I think it should be over 50 seconds at least, which is good. I had to do some voice acting. One of the tricky parts.
You didn't tap me for the acapella.
I
do
a
copyright.
Yeah. So this is a paid ad short, so we're not really allowed to use like copyrighted music. So I wanted to put in the fucking, what do you call that dude?
John Cena,
dude. Like that fucking you know what I'm talking about. I wanted to do that. Can't do that. So instead I did what I just did. Acapella. And I realized I have the opposite of perfect pitch. So I might need you to come in and help me with acapella.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if our editors are equipped with auto-tune and engineering skills.
Oh.
Actually, Edsel's a musician, and he's going to be doing it, so he might.
True. Thank God, dude. Edsel carrying the team.
That's funny. About the last time we were in a writer's room together for shorts, probably 3 months ago, we were doing a short on my channel about the discovery of the North Pole. And you also did Amadou, John Cena. So you got one
Lindy, dude.
One trick, one reference, one inspiration in the tool belt.
What is it?
Oh, yeah. Okay, dude. So let me pick up with a gripe. From yesterday's pod, I said I had to head out of work because I was going to see the like 10 or 20 year anniversary reboot 3D mastered version of Coraline, a movie from our childhood, Tim Burton.
Yeah.
We get there and super excited. I had a Mai Tai. The theater serves alcohol now, which is super fun.
Nice.
We get into the theater and they're not doing. Nobody at any point gave us 3D glasses. I'm like,
Wait, just you or the whole audience?
me, Athena, and my dad. No, yeah.
But the rest of the
Well,
audience has them?
no,
Oh.
nobody has them because they're done screening the movie in 3D. So,
Oh.
which is dumb. So me, my dad, and girlfriend sat and watched Coraline in 2D. Fantastic movie, by the way.
Would
You should watch it as
if
an
it were the
animator.
like red shifted version, like the red green split, and just
Yeah,
like, hey, we just fucking
nothing.
no more
No, they just
glasses.
stopped doing it, and I was like, then why is this back in theaters? Because the movie was originally in 3D.
Oh, it was
Dude,
so wow.
yes,
You move forward 20 years and you lose a dimension.
exactly.
That's
Coraline
tough.
was it was in that era. Maybe we could do a short on this of like, well, you already did, but you got to post it. It's 30 seconds short on 3D.
Uh,
There was
okay.
that era of like, I think Up was in 3D, Coraline was in 3D. They were changing the technology from red and blue glasses to these polarized glasses. But then it kind of died out. Yeah, polarized. I actually do want to go down a rabbit hole of Tim Burton because that dude is dark. This movie was scary.
Isn't
And
it
so I'm
like a
just,
kids movie too?
it's a kid's movie. It's creepy.
The opposite of
And
Disney.
Tim Burton always does that. And so I want to go down the Tim Burton rabbit hole and just figure out like what inspiration is this guy looking at? Where like this is his niche. Is it Brothers Grimm? Like what is going on here? So I'm gonna report back on that rabbit hole when I go down it.
Yeah, I mean, what's cool is he has his own style, so it's immediately recognizable. Like, I know we are doing character uh, stuff and like looking at celebrities and how each particular like Simpsons will do it. Family Guy, Tim Burton was one of them, and you just immediately recognize like the
Mm.
weird limbs and kind of creepy look to it. So that's cool, dude. Not cool that you got one dimension off. I used to, for what it's worth, I don't mean to rub this in and to take it the right way, hopefully. I used to go to Bob's Furniture, and they had a 4D theater in there when I was about 10 years old. Right
In
when my
Bob's,
parents got divorced, we'd go to Bob's Furniture.
why
And I
like why was there a 4D theater in Bob's Discount Furniture?
fucking
Don't leave the word
bring in the
discount out.
townies, dude. Yeah.
Like what were they showing?
Yeah. Keep in mind, all of this is Bob's Discount Furniture as well.
Yes.
Um,
And you like to omit the word discount,
right.
which is a key word in
Well,
the name of the store.
I paid sticker price for those tickets. Um, what was your question?
Like
Why would
what
we
were
go
they
there?
showing in the 4D theater? Were you sitting
Oh,
in like a
don't
Bob-O-Pedic
remember, but
leather?
I got wet, dude. I got wet.
Yeah, well that's yeah.
And
4D
you
does
know,
involve more senses.
right? And I wasn't really prepared for that, but no, it was cool. So,
Yeah, I wonder
Tim
if they
Burton.
know. So, and I don't mean to get all physicist here, but
Uh,
getting wet is still 3 dimensions. It's not, the fourth dimension would be time, and that's not. It's X, Y, Z and time. So great marketing though.
well,
I shouldn't.
but can't you? All right. Oh, there we are. Really ruined my whole childhood right there. No, I think I only went to one Bob's Discount Furniture, the 4D
Dude,
movie.
I
So
at
no big deal.
Disneyland there was a 4D experience of A Bug's Life,
Oh, nice.
and also you would get wet and they would spray things that stunk. There'd be like a stink bug that farted, and then they just put like fart
Yeah.
spray in the whole room. It sucked. But the last part of the movie, you get like stung by this huge wasp, and
Mm.
so in the middle of your back, like right on your spine, out of your bench seat, would come just like a sharp like poker.
Ugh,
And the whole theater's like, ah! So I
that's
remember
kind of
that pretty
cool, dude.
vividly. Yeah, but it hurt. Hit your
Oh,
spine bone.
huh.
And my sister
Can't
was
do
really
that.
little, so it just like bonked her in the back of the head.
I feel like that must happen all the time.
Yeah.
That's cool. Uh,
So you wrote down a thread.
I did. Well, wondering if it's worth it. Um, well,
So, why would it not be on the
no,
Smart
I had
Nonsense
another
podcast?
thread. I had a thread because you talked about a stink bug, and I had a stink bug thread.
Go
But
wherever your heart takes you. We're supposed to be here talking about SAT prep and building companies, but
um,
give me a stink bug. I'll take a stink bug.
well, in college, my entrepreneurship class, we had to make $100 million, a business that would make $100 million in 5 years. Get
Yeah,
to
how's
that?
that going for you post college?
Dude,
We're at
well,
about two.
they're one like the one success from that class they kept referencing. It was Casper. Like they were all Brown grads, and
Down the drain.
I think it
Straight
went
down
right
the
down the
PE
drain.
drain.
So we might be on a better trajectory than Casper. But no, our first idea was like fucking like lip balm you could put in your wallet, and she's like, dude, this shit sucks. And he's like, can you think outside the box? And I didn't know about the stink bug at the time, but I think like two independent minds come to great conclusions. I was like, hey dude, Danny Warshay,
The
professor.
professor. Hey, dude.
Yeah. Uh I don't know if you've ever looked at your phone, but it's 2D. Um and I'm not gonna make it 3D. I don't know how to do that. But what if we skipped right to 4D? And
Oh,
now I'm gonna do something so your phone emits sense like
S
SC,
C E N
like
T.
candles.
Smells.
It smells. Thank you.
The olfactory
Synonyms.
dimension.
Right, right. And he really, to his credit, he ate that up.
Oh,
He sniffed it right up. Maybe more appropriately. Um,
well,
Now
so
the problem,
they say in
yeah,
teaching, I was just listening to a guy who teaches writing and storytelling. Like the best teachers, I think, lead with positivity. They try and give
well,
6 compliments to 1 insult
mm,
because Professor Warshay should have been trying to just harbor like the excitement and the enthusiasm you had for entrepreneurship.
right.
So I'm a little worried that in his eating it all up, that was a facade.
Oh
Um,
well, uh, I
and
forget the
that's
name
just a
of
good
it, but
teacher.
the fucking wallet chapstick he did not eat up.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so like
So he's honest.
So yeah, honest Tom. And no, he liked it, and we couldn't figure out how on God's earth to make it happen. So instead, we just gave loans to poor people. That was our
What?
business plan. Like poor people, they have bad credit or no credit. So we're
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, we're gonna like do this novel way of credit
Oh,
testing
you
them. I
could
forget
have.
what it was.
Sounds like you could have invented a firm.
Oh,
Buy now, pay
oh
later.
yeah, might have been on a firm, just
You
without the
know,
genius of
but you're
queso.
here with smart nonsense. Your $2 million idea. 3 years
SAT,
later,
you want it, dude?
I do. I really
Well,
do.
we've been tasked with making the world's best SAT company. Um, and I think we're on track because SAT, no one wants to teach it. It's boring as fuck all. And the people that do teach it are like 50 years old and they're part of some corporation. So it's like, okay, competition's not that bad. And we're really good at video. So we're like, okay, let's
Well,
go
that and I
Krishna.
see it as like our North Star from the very beginning for Smart Nonsense was to make learning fun. And so
Yeah.
I see SAT prep as like step number 1 in infiltrating school, taking our Smart Nonsense way and approach and brand into schools through SAT. And then you teach all the ACTs and then APs, and then you rewrite textbooks, and then you do Cliff Notes, pamphlets of like Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet,
Yeah.
Smart Nonsense.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So
It's pretty cool.
I think that's kind
I
of how
forgot
we
about the
got here.
vision. The vision was kind of cool
Yeah.
now that you bring it up.
Yeah.
Um, so on that path, we're kind of at the A to B, not A to Z. A to B was like, okay, can we just make her videos, Krishna, she's the girl that's currently running the SAT company. Can we make her videos just look badass, like pop, go viral, awesomeness?
Have we
And we
talked
can.
about that? So basically, you and I set out. Sean Puri called us and was like, "Make an SAT course because I think this could be huge. Take the blueprint of this MCAT video course called Sketchy, do that for SAT in the Smart Nonsense way." And we started doing that, and we spent probably 2 weeks on it. And every waking moment we looked at the SAT, it absolutely sucked.
Right. Hated it at
because
the time.
it
Still
wasn't
hate it.
like fun smart nonsense shorts. It was like, how do you teach that when you multiply exponents, you can add them together? It was just, and that's actually not even the worst of it. It was more like, how do you, we would have to sit down and write everything about like, what even is the exam? Like, oh, it's these sections for 60 minutes and make sure you bring a number 2 pencil and like a snap. And we were
Right.
like, what are we doing?
Right.
So
So luckily,
badass
Krishna
founder
came in.
Krishna reaches out.
She was not bitching like us. She just heads down,
Actually,
did it.
crazy coincidence. As we're
Yeah.
giving up the
It's
idea,
almost, it's so fishy. It doesn't, like, when I tell people, I'm like, it's not like anyone approached us at any point in the last 5 years and
ever,
was like, hey, you want to
nobody
just,
wants to work
it
with
just
us.
happened to be the exact 2 week window where we were considering this.
So we're giving it up, and you get a email at
We
your
did.
smart nonsense email. Oh, did we both? From Krishna, who's like, "Hey, just saw you guys on the Greg Eisenberg podcast. Heard Sean talk about SAT or something in My First Million. You guys mentioned it in Greg Eisenberg. I've already built it. It's already making money. Can we work together?" We're like,
Right.
"Yeah."
Because she liked our content, making things fun and cool. So we do. We come in and we're like, okay, step one. It's a big ass course. Like, one day we want to make it maybe like character animation, super fun, but like, let's just try and go viral to start, and then we can just push this course you already have that's like good enough. And we got our little fucking viral formula, which really isn't anything crazy. It's just like, take something already viral, make it even better. So we just go in and be like, okay, what's viral in the SAT niche? Oh, SAT math problems. Let's do those problems that are already viral. Just make them look like Vox, make them look really sick. We did that. Pop off. Pretty much like the first ones are getting millions of
First one
views.
had 3 million views. Literally the first one. 3 million on IG, 3 million on TikTok.
That's actually funny, dude, because it was the same thing when I came to you, and it was like the very first one. It's like the channel is just like simmering at all points, and it's just like waiting
Well,
for
yeah,
someone to crack it.
Krishna, it was like my channel. I think both me early on and Krishna had put out a lot of content already. So like the channel was warm-ish, and I think YouTube or these platforms had like a decent sense of who the audience was. And
Mm,
then you drop one potentially viral bomb on that, and it just
right, right. So it popped off, and now we're at this point of I don't know. She was getting maybe like 500,000 views a month, and we got it up to like 10 million, which is
in month
really good.
one.
20xer. See if that continues. Granted, conversions, because it's like kind of dilute when you go to scale. Who knows if conversions are as good? So we're kind of working on like, when we get the views, where do we send them, and then how does that convert into like actual sales? But like, the bigger picture thing is like, okay, this is cool, but we want to make sure we can like one day smart nonsensify this thing, because if not, it's just going to be like a better than average video course, probably the best
Well,
video
yeah.
course for
So
like
I think
a
where it
couple
came
weeks
to a
in.
head is you started writing, rewriting for Krishna the video that goes on her landing page. Is it futureadmit.com?
Yeah.
.com or yeah. Um, and you started getting fished out, sussed out because the bold claim at the end of that landing page video is like, and what's the best part about Future Admit? What's the best part about our product? We have awesome video. Video that doesn't even feel like you're learning, like if TikTok were your teacher. And that's true, and I believe in that. But it's like, and then I started writing it about 5 days or a week later after you. I kind of took it over, and I got to that
Well, yeah,
same
I
point.
radicalized early, and then you kind of like felt where my
I
radicalization.
start, I get to the same point, and I'm like, this isn't a very good selling point. It's like,
Right,
okay, and this course could be okay, and we can figure out the funnel and we can turn views into converting customers. But like, our unique advantage is we have really good video. It doesn't even say anything about the dream outcome of like getting a perfect score on the SAT. It's
right.
like, take our course
Well,
because we have
because none
really
of
good
us have gotten
video.
a perfect score, so it's kind of, it's like, the way to properly do this is like, hey, I got a 1600 on the SAT, and I'm going to teach you how with like the coolest video that you've never seen before, whatever. Um, but we're just missing a lot of like key points. So I was tweaking, and I'm like, motherfucker, like, if we're gonna spend this much time on this, like, can we either make it special or just like have Krishna come and help us with clips because that's ripping, and I'd rather like do
Well, and
that
you go and
with
watch
videos.
Sketchy, which is a video course for learning and studying the MCAT for medicine. And their video sales letter, their homepage landing video, is like, it's not about like we are a video course. It's like, hey, we use this ancient Roman philosophy of like loci teaching or like the memory palace teaching or something, where we take these things that are hard to understand and
Mhm.
we associate, like, here's Einstein. He has a big head and a leather jacket. That means like he has this huge prefrontal cortex, but because he's wearing a leather jacket, he acts irrationally at times. And now, every time you think about that MCAT topic, you will see Einstein with his big head and his leather
Sounds like
jacket.
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
and
Uh,
but and you get to the end of that video and you're like, I want to try that method. That
right.
seems like that could be really helpful for just learning things I have to memorize.
And it's the only place to get it. And I
One
think
of
the
one.
it's like it kind of reminds me of the Simon Sinek, like start with why. Like they're basically uh like starting with like the method no one else is doing, and then like the what and the how is like through these like pictures and pretty videos. It's not like they're starting with like, hey, we have a ton of like pictures. It's like, I don't know, like why do you have a ton of pictures? Oh, we have a ton of pictures because this is the ancient method to teach. It's like, oh, start with the ancient method. We don't have our ancient method. Um, so we're trying to figure that out, and it's like, okay, let's just kind of go from first principles here. If we're looking at the SAT, because MCAT's a little bit different, that's more memorization. SAT is more like, hey, you should have a basic knowledge of math, and now you're gonna apply it to whatever 100
Well,
problems,
talk
however many
about
are on the test.
your buddy Alan, how he got a perfect
Oh,
score on the SAT.
oh, right to the punch. Yeah. Well, yeah. There's another punch. So our buddy Alan, I guess at this point, um, he got a perfect score on the SAT,
How?
2400 at the time, and how he did it, because I told him like, hey, dude, we got dinner, and he's like, what are you working on? Oh, this SAT course. It's just like really cool videos teaching the SAT. Showed him a video. One was kind of funny too because I showed it to him, like one of the viral videos, and like normally I'm used to showing people my shorts and they'll like look at it for a couple seconds and then be like, oh, I get it. Cool. But I went to do like, okay, you get it, and take the phone away. And he like grabbed my hand. He's like, no, dude, let me like
That's
solve the problem.
exactly what happened to my brother. Like,
Yeah.
why these are so sticky is we want to. So the viral format is like, here's a really hard but looks easy problem on the SAT. Can you solve it? And I think the human brain is like incapable of not taking that challenge.
Right. And so,
My
yeah,
brother did the
he,
same thing. We're trying to just talk about one of these viral problems and we play the hook and we pause it so we can talk about what we're doing. And he's like, no, 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 no. Let it go. I think it's X.
right. Which is magic. And so we're just doubling down on that. But he saw that. He liked it. But then I'm like, yeah, we're basically building a video course teaching the SAT. And his gut was like, huh, that's cool, but I don't think it's going to work. I'm like, okay, Alan, why is
Go
that?
on.
It's like, well, as someone who's gotten a 2400 on SAT, I had a different method. Tell me, Alan. He's like, well, I grew up in this town in LA called Koreatown, or like with a bunch of Koreans. I don't know where it was. A lot of Koreans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah. And we went to this school, this SAT school, uh, and it'd just be like me and 100 other Koreans in the room. And all they do all day long is they come and feed you an exam, and you're not allowed to leave the physical room until you get a perfect score on that exam. If you fuck it up, here's another one. And I'm like, what, dude? He's like, yeah. And I just be the last one in the room. All the Koreans are leaving because they're beasts. And I'm just like, all right, I have to figure this thing out. And he just kept nailing him. Just like literally just a matter of repetition. Just like do the exam as many times as possible and just gonna like see the patterns in the exam. You get a new one for like the 2024 SAT, and you're like, oh, I've seen this on 2022. So his belief is just do a bunch of practice exams. So circling back, that's
Which
kind of what we're
anecdotally,
getting
by the
to.
way, I think I said it on this pod, but I'm doing a course, an online course right now to get my pilot's license. And it's a video course. And halfway through, I just got really stuck. I was like, these videos are boring. It's so much information. Like, I don't even feel like I'm going to pass this test. And I was like, let me just change my approach halfway through. Let me put these videos on 3x speed and watch them as fast as I physically can. Just like smash them into my brain and then
Mhm.
spend all of my time just taking practice tests. And I'll know the things I know, and the things I consistently get wrong, I should just go and study those things I keep getting wrong until I'm getting everything
Right.
right. And it was kind of a similar alignment I had, which is like I could probably do this. I could probably hack this by spending 80% of my time taking practice exams.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
this I think it's kind of like the best way to learn in general is more like I remember I was taking jujitsu and I got to class and you kind of just throw you in like with everyone. And we just go on like particular like headlock maneuvers or something. And I'm like, dude, I can do your headlock and like try and do it. I don't get the bigger picture. Like, if I don't get the headlock, she's gonna choke me out on this move I've never seen before. So I wanted to see like little like fundamental pillars of jujitsu or like whatever the skill is that you're learning. Like, give me the big picture. Like, here's what we're trying to learn, and then just fucking let me grapple. Let me grapple, and then when I get leg locked or something, I'm gonna be like, okay, let me look at like go back to the pillars. Here's the foundation. Here's where the leg lock fits into that, and go watch the particular video or like do the lesson on how to get out of that. So I'm like, okay, kind of similar thing with the SAT. It's like ideal method in my mind is like your sort of 3x, like just give me the bigger picture. I think you didn't have a bigger picture, that's why I had to go fast. But like
that's what it
simple,
was. The bigger picture was like we're going to learn charts, radio communications, how to go through airspace, and then how to plan a cross country trip. And I just like got that big picture into my head as fast as possible,
yeah,
and then spent all of my time doing problems.
right. So same thing. Big picture, what are the pillars of the SAT? And then how do we do problems? And now you can like when you get stuck on a problem, then go back to like maybe more specific lessons, but don't even have those more specific lessons until you fuck up on the real doing part.
And I think the
So
lesson sinks in more if you get stuck in that leg lock or you get the pilot's
right.
course problem wrong, and then you can go back and watch tapes or go
Practice
watch the
explain.
video just on that theory. I think if you've made the mistake and then learn the right answer,
Right.
it's probably the fastest way to figure
Yeah.
things out.
Well, there's so much like even with entrepreneurship, like Naval stuff, like we did a lot of theory at the start, but now like I find myself referring back to Naval for like specific stuff. Like we get the bigger picture and then we'll like come back to like Hormozy for sale stuff or whatever, but it's more relevant now that you're like doing the thing. So same idea. It's like, okay, how do we take that? That's some sort of unlock. But the big thing is like the key to doing well is doing as many problems as possible. But not everyone has this Korean prison camp where you're just in there doing SAT problems all day long. Most people are too lazy for that. So I saw this thing going down like the Reddit sketchy rabbit hole of like what makes sketchy so amazing. And one person's like, "Hey, sketchy is cool. Like it gives me the visuals and stuff. But really, I use like Anki, like some like spaced repetition flashcards to like really learn the thing. I just like sketchy because I can just tune out at the end of the day and like watch it and feel like I'm learning something without really having to like do much. It's like the lazy person's approach to it. So I'm like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, what if we were able to somehow get people to take the same amount of exams as Alan in Korean labor camp and then like, but not actually have to do it? Like, you're not doing the problems. We're just like somehow making 1,000 problems like so enjoyable for you to watch that you'll just sit there and binge it like a Netflix show. Now,
Or like learning vocab on Duolingo, right? It's gamified. Like
yeah,
kids want to go on there and keep their streak. And I mean, it's also the
right.
dopamine of like getting the thing right, and it goes ding ding, and like confetti shoots out. Like
Yeah, even though I don't think anyone's ever learned Spanish through Duolingo or any language.
no, no,
Um,
absolutely not.
but
Pimsleur, the Pimsleur method is what you want.
oh,
It's
Who teaches
audio
that?
only. Pimsleur is
Oh,
basically
that was
like
you doing your Chinese.
yeah.
That's what
Pimsleur
it
is
was.
basically like, why do you need to learn how to read and write and grammar to learn a language? You need to be able to show up in the country and like have a conversation to find the bathroom.
Yeah.
Therefore, Pimsleur is all audio only. You put in
Mhm.
headphones and you just listen to stuff and talk back in the app, and you learn that way.
I don't know what kind of learner I am, but I was talking to our other friend Noah, runs the Neuron AI newsletter, and he was like, "I'm a visual learner." I'm like, "I'm the same. Like, I can't understand a language until I like see the word written out. Like, it fucks with my head. If you're like hola, and I'm like, I gotta know how that's spelled. I guess other people,
Well,
Pimsleur
yeah.
doesn't care.
We get to a Spanish speaking country, they say two sentences to you and your eyes
Yeah,
gloss over. So,
but all the signs, dude, I'll tell you where we have to go in a second.
right. But imagine if you had 1,000 reps of just conversations with
Yeah,
people.
come
Same
see, come saw.
principle.
Um, So okay, now we got this idea of like, okay, we want people to do like 100 practice tests, and we're gonna like somehow sugarcoat all these medicinal practice tests. Um, what's the best way to do that? And we don't have an answer, FYI. But like my late night brainstorming, I've just been thinking like somehow like the magic of our shorts is we turn like boring explainers into like stories. Just
And
like
it's, yeah, it's visual and memorable.
right.
You could ask me about a short from 2 years ago, if it's a decent short, and I could like, and it's not like I watch these shorts all the time. But the association with the idea and
Right.
the visuals, the story on screen, like I could recite back probably the scenes from that short.
Yeah, you probably
It's
wouldn't
also
get the
crazy.
facts, but you'd get like the feelings, the
Yeah.
vibe. It's also what
Oh,
oh,
same way I can look at any short over the last few years and tell you exactly which animator
that.
did it,
Yeah.
which is kind of funny.
Yeah. Like
It's just
who's
like, yeah,
the
there's something so core. What was that thing on Sketchy with the memory palace? Basically, like if you can associate a visual with an idea, somehow
yeah,
in your brain, uh, there's
infinite.
infinite space for that to happen. Versus like just
Yeah.
memorizing flashcards, like there's some certain bandwidth that your brain can hold,
Right. But
but the
like
memory palace is infinite.
yeah, like if you picture your backyard of your house growing up, granted you've had the same house, but like it's fuck it, clear
Locked
as
in.
day, locked in. Trampoline, got the little fire pit, an acre. My dad almost burned down our whole neighborhood because he was having a crazy bonfire, and the trees caught on fire. And then dude. I had fire trucks pulling into my like super backyard, and they had to like pump out the pond.
Your super
So
backyard.
my it was the sickest backyard. Um, so it's like, okay, how do we incorporate all of this? Sketchy does like memory palace location stuff, and there's story, and maybe there's like characters. Um, to somehow get people to do like 1,000 fucking questions. Um,
Without
and
feeling
I
like that's work, right? Without feeling like
yeah,
they have to sit down and do 1,000 boring questions.
but also be effective, which is
Right.
hard because like if you just took our current shorts and you're like, okay, one's fun to watch, like Jack or Alan will take the phone and try and solve that, but like, are they gonna do 5? Gonna do 10? 100? Like you'll probably just get fatigued out. And you're like, all right, fuck this. Um, but if our goal is like, hey, if you're able to just watch 100 of these problems a day, you're gonna get it 1,600.
And yeah,
Um, so somehow, like some ideas I'm kicking around don't have much other than like, who knows if you can
scribble
zoom in on
scrabble.
that. You definitely can't see that, but I got. I'm like thinking about location stuff. Got Dirt, and I really like Dirt. We had some images of him with our cartoon, where it's like Dirt with his little Bugs Life backpack,
Oh yeah.
and I'm like, it'd be kind of cool if Dirt's kind of like exploring some worlds, and like kind of like Wizard of Oz, like Yellow Brick Road, like he's trying to get to like some special place, like guess Oz, is that the actual
Harvard?
place? Harvard on the Hill. Legit. That's actually, I don't know if you saw the photo, but I have Harvard
No,
on the
I
Hill.
couldn't see jack shit.
Oh, okay. Well, Harvard on the Hill, and right in front of that, I got geometry, and it's a tree. Um,
Tree is
um,
3 in the
oh,
aeronautical
look at that.
phonetical handbook.
So I don't know. There's something that we can play around with where like maybe it's Dird and he's on this adventure and like he'll just come across obstacles or something. I don't want to make it too corny and shit, but like
Like a
if there's the
polynomial?
fucking like yeah, like a polynomial
Plant.
panda or like I had like a
Polynomial panda.
trigonometry troll, like a trig troll, and he just fucking crosses the trig troll and he's like hitting him with riddles and shit. And he's like, if you want to cross this bridge, you gotta solve my riddles.
And you're
Um,
sure the those SpongeBob characters on the wall aren't talking to you or anything?
no, they for sure are. They're feeding me all
They're
these great
teasing
ideas.
you. No, it is a good
Um,
idea.
well, yeah,
It just takes a psycho to kind of come up with that.
well, yeah. I mean, what's cool though is like you'll have like Pythagoras, and Pythagoras, he's just like, where would he hang out? I don't know. He's just in like a little fucking Parthenon looking building or
Yeah.
something. It's like, oh, hey, Pythagoras. And he's like fucking, maybe he's like doing some measurements. And then like somehow you come out of being in Pythagoras Palace and you're like, wow, that's now I got memorized like a circle is pi r squared for the area or like whatever. I'm not going to fucking drop some knowledge bombs right now. But, so I don't know. There's something there. It would be quite difficult to do like 1,000 problems, and I don't know how they fit without it getting repetitive. Of like every person teaches a problem. Don't know how it works, but like I think it'd be really cool if you could just be like,
There's something there. What I love about it is it's the classic Naval of like escape competition through authenticity. Basically, like if we just focus on whatever this unlock is and our branding and the smart nonsense method, whatever it ends up being, is there a red alert fire number 1 behind you?
yeah,
Uh I
focus
actually
on
thought we were
Naval
gonna
101.
die last night. Our dog was like alerting us at 4 in the morning, like running around the room panting, and like she comes up and like boops me with her nose when there's an issue, usually when she has to have diarrhea in the middle of the night.
Oh,
But I go out in the hall and it just smells like rotten eggs, and I'm like, what? And then I take her up to go to the bathroom. It's on another floor in the building and it smells like fire. I'm like, what? So I came back down and I called the
on
front desk.
9/11, dude. Watch out.
It was 9:12 by that point, but
Okay.
I was kind of thinking about that. I was like, is there something going on in the building that like we don't know about? And I came back down and I called the front desk. I was like, yo, it smells like rotten eggs. And they're like, all right, we'll let the engineers know about that tomorrow. I'm like,
Oh, packing.
my German Shepherd's alerting me. So,
Right.
Anywho, we were fine. We were fine.
Yeah. Naval 101.
Yeah. So when you go one of one, it's just like, then to bring this all the way back to the landing page video we need to make, the smart nonsense method, the value, it just becomes crystal clear, and you're not phoning it in, and nobody can compete with you. It's just like, this is the way, this is the method. It will be so fun. You will increase your score by 400 points without even thinking about it.
Right. So I think there's some stuff you have to memorize, and that will be like we'll use sort of the memory palace maybe if we do this adventure time fucking storyline Wizard of Oz thing. But like those formulas will just be locked in, and then somehow you get the reps on problems.
Oh, is that a polarization I see?
Yeah, but they're both horizontal, so it's all fucked up.